By the end of 2023, India's economy is anticipated to rise incredibly quickly. In a research document on potential investment prospectus published by Morgan Stanley, it was stated that by 2027, India's economy would overtake both Japan and Germany as the third largest in the world, and that by 2030 its stock market would rank third globally. The scientific report goes on to claim that by 2031, India's GDP could more than double from its current level of $3.5 trillion to over $7.5 trillion. It also predicts that the Bombay Stock Exchange, India's stock market, will grow on average by 11% annually until it reaches a market cap of $10 trillion. In a world that is bracing for a recession, a world that is seeing a sharp decline in the equities market, and a world where bonds are barely profitable for individuals, India's stock market may exceed the US's over the next 10 years. As someone who has never invested, this may be a major financial opportunity. As of 2023, India will be one of just 3 nations in the world that can produce more than $400 billion in annual economic production growth, and this number will increase to more than $500 billion by 2028, according to research papers issued by banks like Morgan Stanley and S&P Global. That now equals an increase in the GDP of 11%. Here are some comparative statistics. The US GDP was expected to increase by 2% in 2022, but this year in 2023, economists are forecasting that in the event of a recession, which most people seem to assume will occur, the US GDP would only grow by 0.2% and won't even begin to recover until 2024, when we will grow by 1.7%. Currently, China, which often leads the world in economic growth, expanded by just 3% in 2022. India, in contrast, is projected to grow by 6%. Keep in mind that whenever the economy slows down, fewer people will work, we will earn less, we will consume less, and companies will make less money, which is typically bad for the stock market. India's projected 11% growth over the next 10 years is therefore fantastic. Therefore, one of the questions is why India's economy is growing so quickly while the rest of the world's economy isn't, and another is how we might participate in this growth. There are currently 3 basic explanations for why this is occurring. 1. Global offshoring, 2. Financial transformation, and 3. Energy transition. Global offshore is the practice of a nation outsourcing its production to another nation. Historically speaking, the world recently told India that it possesses the most 2 crucial skills a person can have: software development and customer service. But there is the thing. India has one of the youngest populations in the world and the largest pool of skilled engineers in the world. Their overall economic production is greatly boosted by the median age of 28.4 years old. In 2020, Upwork ranked India as the second largest market for hiring freelancers with 12.6% of the market. Since the budget for outsourcing will increase from $180 billion per year as it is now to over $500 billion per year by 2030, the number of individuals who are currently available for employment is expected to double to more than 11 million. However, it goes beyond only software development and customer service. India is also constructing factories, which explains why manufacturing is expected to account for 21% of our GDP by 2031. The second factor that will make India dominate this upcoming decade will astound you. It results from the digital change we underwent in 2009. India developed a program called Aadhaar, a biometric authentication system that allowed people to access services like state pensions, pay taxes, credit unions, receive healthcare, shop, etc. Additionally, because this program is now a part of something called India Stake, a decentralized utility for payments, it has made it much easier for people and businesses to apply for credit and obtain loans. Although this initiative was highly divisive when it first debuted, a 2018 analysis indicated that consumers actually receive better deals and experience shorter lines to get their meals. Since the government has the power to close down underperforming stores, individuals actually have the option of downvoting the con artist stores. As great as it sounds, this framework may or may not work in other nations due to privacy and data collection concerns. However, the point is that India has a large number of people and they need to be digitized and managed to bring in and onboard much faster. And this is why the US is significantly more fortunate in this regard. But the point is that India is developing some incredibly creative answers. This is accelerating our economic growth, and in terms of financial development, by the year 2031, there will be over 25 million households earning over $35,000 annually, up from 5.6 million today. Since higher incomes lead to higher spending, the stock market in India ought to rise as a result. The energy transformation is now the third major reason why India is poised to dominate the following 10 years. It is predicted that renewable energy sources would account for at least two-thirds of India's energy needs. India should experience an enormous amount of investment opportunities and technological advancements in this area as the world switches from fossil fuels to renewable energy resources. These developments will help us become much more productive and efficient, which will naturally boost our income and overall economic output. All economists currently agree that India is poised to dominate and perform incredibly well over the course of the upcoming decade. This consensus is currently pretty unwavering. The question is, with all of this knowledge, can we invest our money in a way that contributes to this promising future in order to earn a marginally higher return? There will be 10 times and 100 times returns on some Indian equities, but it is quite difficult to discover just one. Therefore, it could be wiser to think about what are known as ETFs, exchange traded funds, which are collections of equities that look for a specific set of criteria rather than trying to find a needle in the haystack. As an illustration, several of the more well-liked ETF options in the emerging market are chosen by investors to gain exposure to the Indian stock market. According to Barnos, you would have approximately $9.2 million now if you had invested $1 million in the US stock market in December 1992. But if you had invested that same $1 million in the stock market of China, it would now only be worth $6,000, not even a million. Likewise, if you had invested that same $1 million in the stock market of India, you would now have $8.2 million. So while it's still a large amount of money, it's not as nice as in the US. Despite India possibly having a higher increasing GDP over the next 10 years, the US stock market may still do better. This is due to the fact that there is no direct relationship between GDP and stock market performance. As another illustration, in 2020, the US GDP decreased by 3.4% while the stock market increased by 18.4%. This occurs as a result of how much more complicated the stock market is than the GDP or the nation's economic production. Geopolitics, governmental backing, social mood, interest rates, foreign exchange rates, and central bank powers are other factors that have a role. It is really complex and involves many different factors. So guys, this was for today. Give us your thoughts on this in the comment section, and if you appreciate our content, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Share this video with your family and friends. We will meet soon in a new video. Thank you. Jai Hind.